Listen, when you walk past a woman and you see a woman and you decide to holler at her, at that moment you decide if you want to disturb her peace. You decided you're going to be her peace or you're going to disturb her peace. You choose. At that very moment, am I going to disturb her peace or am I going to bring her peace? And a lot of us choose to be the woman's trauma.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Today is the shoe fits wear it. I'm going to get straight to the point. And I'm not playing no games today. Listen, I got people that I've known all my life that are the most hating, jealous, envious people I have ever met in my life. They have a mentality that they don't want you to win more than them. They want a bigger house than you. They want more money in their account. And I got a person, and I'm going to get on record and say this. I have a person. We were having a conversation a while back. There was a time where I would play very, very small, because I knew that it made this particular person very inferior. So I played very small because I knew he had a bad ego and a very, 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 very jealous spirit. So long story short, I would say things like, I don't have much. He asked me one day, he asked me, how much money you got? And I never told him. We got into an argument one day. He started screaming, I got $150,000. And respectfully, and I say this respectfully, I said, that's it? And he said, what you mean by that? I said, no disrespect, but I got way more than that. And when I said that, if you could see the devil right in its flesh, you would have saw it. The jealousy started right then and there. They say if the shoe fits, wear it. The reason why this particular person could not have more than me, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because a lot of times people don't equate lifestyle to earning. You could make $100,000 a year, but you live a $200,000 a year lifestyle. So automatically you in the red over 100,000. I'm the type of person to make $100,000 and live a $40,000 lifestyle. I'm that type of person, preserving $60,000 of my money, ultimately elevating my life faster. Some people don't have that mentality, but I've noticed that we're in a culture of different mentalities, ultimately putting us all in a box, but everyone thinks absolutely different. There are tons of cultures in one culture that we have to identify as different. Just because someone has melanin don't mean we have a melanated thought patterns the same. We don't think the same. Some people don't have the same thoughts. And that's what I'm learning. Because if the shoe fits, most people don't want to wear it. And the sad part is the people that have big shoes to fill, people want their lifestyle until they realize they cannot fill those shoes. I'm just being fair and honest. I'm being fair and honest. When you sit down and talk to people, you'll realize that your biggest haters are way closer than you genuinely believe they are. They know you more than you think they know you. They watch you harder than you think they watch you. That's the issue. People are so jealous. The one thing I want to say I thank God for, he never gave me I don't have a jealous spirit. I'm not envious. I don't watch what other people are doing. I'm so focused on what I'm doing that a lot of times I forget to see other things that's going on. I'm so caught up in what I got going on, I'm not worried about what other people got going on. So a lot of the times, the things that other people got going on be distractions to what you don't got going on. And that's the truth. We want more, but we don't want to do more. That's what I say. You watching what other people are doing so much, you forget to focus on what you're doing. I feel like, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to say this on record. I feel like I'm in a culture of people who work so hard to look like they got money that they ultimately forget to get money. And the sad part is they spend all their resources on looking like they got money to the point they never have money. And that's genuinely what I see every single day. We're fighting the wrong fight. The sad part is there is no wealth building. I'm gonna go on record and talk like this. Black families, it is sad when you watch how many people who don't have no generational wealth, who can't leave absolutely nothing, who don't have a life insurance policy, who don't have $1 in a savings account besides credit cards to lead to their children, which is debt. This is all I'm seeing, right? This is what I'm seeing. Think about the narrative. We get so inferior to other cultures that we praise other cultures and we create statistics about other cultures that aren't even true. How many times have you heard that white people have money when there are so much broke white people? Most white Americans are broke. Listen, there are more white Americans on welfare in Section 8 than blacks. Like, come on. But we create this narrative that we want to make an excuse for the behaviors that we have. I asked the guy the other day, he got upset with me, and I'm a roll straight to the point. If the shoe fits, we gonna wear it. When you go to a bad neighborhood and there's food and junk on the floor, who put it there? It ain't the white man. It ain't the white man. When you go to these areas, who's selling the drugs in those environments? You're gonna say, but they don't mean you still gotta sell it. When you engage in a certain mentality, you can't be mad at the results that you're getting for the mentality that you engaged in. When we know that there are traps set and we still walk face and head straight towards the traps, we know eventually by engaging in illegal activity, you're going to jail eventually. We know this. So why are we gonna do it? Because I genuinely believe that that person that believes that has an extreme level of narcissism. Listen to that. You believe that everybody that came from you, before you, are so dumb that they were able to get caught selling illegal substances, but you believe that you're so intelligent that you can sell illegal substances and you won't get caught. This is the mentality, man. When you preserve, look at that logic. What kind of mind do you have to have? It's like me constantly cursing in front of my child and then getting mad at them cursing. That's how simplistic it is when you're talking logic. Everything you see that came before you, what goes up must come down, right? The laws of gravity. There's nothing you could do to redefine gravity. Logic is 1 + 1 = 2. But a lot of people aren't logical, right? Listen to that narrative. When you look at the man that didn't raise you, and I'm talking to my men directly, if you complain about the father that didn't raise you, and then you procreate life, and you don't raise the son or the daughter, and you know what it feels like to go through what you already went through, you are worse than your damn daddy. Let me say that one more time. If you're a man or a woman who was raised by bad parents and you choose to procreate life, and you procreate life and you give that child the same trauma and the same drama that you started in, that's like taking a bath in the same dirty water that your mother just took a bath in, and you expect to get clean. Look at that narrative. Imagine your grandmother took a bath, she left the water for your mother got in the bath, and then ultimately you get in the same goddamn water that your grandmother was in, and then you wonder why you ain't goddamn clean. Like, this is crazy. After a certain point, we have to start identifying that we're the issue. The shoe has to be fitting, because a lot of people know the results of what came before us, but yet and still we do the same thing. Why do you think so many children are aggressive and angry? A lot of children are verbally abused. You don't have to physically abuse a child for them to have wounds. You can verbally abuse a child that has wounds, and the sad part is the wounds that they have, you can't even see them. You don't have to physically abuse a child. You can verbally abuse a child. You can kill their self-esteem. You can lower their values. You can make them feel inferior to the world and insecure. You called your son a little bum. So your son is gonna be what? A little bum. Because you're casting spells on your child. But who's the problem here? Who's the problem? Who is the problem? I'm gonna tell you something. It's sad when we look at, I'm gonna go through a lot of stereotypes, and I know a lot of people are gonna get upset, but guess what? I like to do that because I ruffle feathers, because I am the truth teller, and I don't give a damn who get upset. Damn! I don't give a damn. Because we gotta ruffle some feathers for the logic to get through, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we complain about the culture being in a bad financial space, but yet and still go on social media and watch the most flashiest people online are some of the brokest people in the world. There's a statistic that said that if you have over $500,000, that means you have more money than 99% of the world. If you have $500,000, you have more money than 99% of the world. This is crazy. But if you look online, I promise you this, everybody look like they got more than $1 million. Somebody lying. Listen to that statement again. They say that if you have $500,000, that's in assets, everything, you are in the 1 percentile. But everybody looks like they're rich. The shoe it's fitting, right? We get mad at the things that, Carnival is kicking us off of the cruise. Let's talk about something logical. Why we don't have our own goddamn cruise line? Why we don't have our own damn cruise line? Why are we worried about people kicking us off our own when we should have our own on? I'm gonna tell you something. The person can't kick me out my home when it's my home. The thing is, we gotta start creating more things that we call our own. We gotta create more economical spaces where we make resources and we build our own. I was telling a guy today, and he got a little offended, when I said the reason why black people have a lot of problems at jobs because they go to jobs looking for friends. And he said, what you say? I said, yeah, I go to jobs looking for friends. The problem is you are being paid to do an 8-hour shift. No one cares that you're on your period. No one cares that your baby mama stabbed your car. No one cares about that. They care about you doing your 8 hours and go home. When you go to your job and you bring all your energy to the job, that means you are not in the right space. To go to a job is to get a check, collect, and go the hell home and invest into the future that you want. That's all a job is. You don't need the politics. You don't need to care about them getting a new microwave. You don't need to give a damn about the new tires on a truck. Who gives a damn? That's their stuff. Why are you worried about everything other than what you should be worried about? You go to a job, you get your damn money based on what you're paid, and go the hell on. Clock out and do what you gotta do. But that's our problem. We're at the job trying to make friends. My supervisor don't like me, so what? We ain't here to be friends. It's my job being done effectively and efficiently. That's all that matters. I truly doubt they're gonna fire you if you're doing your job great. They're gonna fire you if you're doing your job great and you got a big mouth and you're bringing your personal life to the job. Yeah, that's a problem. Because they ain't paying you for your opinion. They paying you to deliver boxes if you work at Amazon. They paying you to pick up somebody in the Uber. They paying you as a teacher to teach the students. They don't care about all that other stuff. You so caught up looking for equal rights and justice for all. Get a check. Get a damn check. Who cares? I don't care nothing about nothing that goes on at no job. Nothing. Get your money and go. And invest to the point where you're able to live the lifestyle you want to live. Educate yourself. The shoe fits. Wear it. Y'all don't want to wear the shoe, but y'all want to complain about the world, but y'all don't want to see that we have more power to change our economical positioning, but we want to still complain. America, we can talk bad about it every single day, but no matter what you say, it is a land of opportunity. And I hate to say this, to get something, you have to give something. And that's reality. You want an education, you do have to take loans. And guess what? It is what it is. It is what it is. But if you live down, you eventually get up. But the problem is we want to be up before we're up. That's the problem. Some people don't act their age nor their goddamn wage. You don't act your age nor your goddamn wage. It's crazy some of the wealthiest people act like they broke and some of the brokest people act like they so rich. I told you before, the reason why they do that and they forget to get rich. They forget. The wealthy act poor and the broke act rich. And the broke, they act so rich they forget to get rich. And then you got a GoFundMe talking about some man got shot last night. Man shouldn't have been in the streets. I'm not going to no more funerals lying about nobody's kids. If your kid was diabolical, it is what it is. Your son was 40 years old and didn't want to grow up. He wanted to be in the streets. He wanted to gangbang. God bless him. This is what he signed up for. This is what he signed up for. I'm not going to nobody's funerals lying no more. Talking about he was a good person. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. We better pray that God has mercy on him. That's all we can do at this point. I'm not going there lying when you put up a picture of Man when he was 13. Man 40, he don't look like that no more. He got tattoos everywhere. Like, let's have a real conversation. And then when you talk like this, people say you hard on the culture. No, we need to get hard on our culture. Because the ones that's misrepresenting our culture is teaching them wrong. I come from a king and a queen. I don't come from junk. I don't come from ignorance. So therefore, why am I not acting to the king that I am? But I'm gonna be looked at as and labeled as an Uncle Tom because of the fact that I know I come from royalty. You don't see royalty come down to the level of a peasant. You don't see royalty come down to the level of a peasant. One more time, you don't see royalty come down to the level of a peasant. And the time we come down to a level of a peasant is we trying to give them employment. Or we trying to help them. But other than that, we lead by example. Because they say, I'm gonna tell you something. If you take a clown and you put it in the kingdom will turn into a goddamn circus. But if you take a king and you put him in the kingdom will turn into a goddamn kingdom. If you take a queen and you put her in the kingdom will turn into a better kingdom. But if you take a woman that's a clown and you put her in the kingdom, you got a full-fledged goddamn circus. And that's our culture. We tap dancing and we clowns. I don't come from garbage. I come from a mother that sacrificed every day for me to be a better man. Even in my ignorant days, my mother was still there loving and supporting me. I come from a praying mother. I come from a mother that understands who she is, who respects herself. And our culture have lost respect for itself. We don't see that the shoe fits. We got to work on ourselves. I listen to my women on social media violate men. I look at my brothers online violate women. And we call this normal. Who's the goddamn problem? Who's the goddamn problem? When you have these conversations, people get offended. But the logic says, a woman could never be my enemy. I don't know how men make women their enemy. I got bigger fish to fry. My biggest enemy is bills. My biggest enemy is responsibilities. The other day I told a guy the reason why I understand why men run from the role of being a man, because it is a very thankless job. This is why so many men don't want to sign up for it. The women are not praising the men anymore. In order for a man to continue to want to do that role of a man, someone got to be there pushing him and supporting him and loving in him and pouring into him, because naturally, real men don't get no kind of praises no more. I watch bums get praised more than real men nowadays. Bums, scammers, drug dealers, clowns, ooders, right? They get praised more than real men who will get up and drop a damn bus every day for his family. They'll get more praises. You know why? Because he can buy you a stolen gift card, a bag. A lot of y'all on vacations with someone else's pension money. With somebody else's ID. Y'all don't understand what's going on. Right now, we're on the verge. And we're in the worst economical economy in the history of the U.S. And I'm still listening at women talking about fly me out. And then you fly back to a Section 8 apartment. If you're not diabolical, I don't know what is. You want to be flown out to pretend, going on vacation, right? And living bad is like renting a nice car, and after 2 weeks, you got to give it back. That's what that is. When you go out, you still got to come back to a horrible situation. And your reality sets in. That is Cinderella with the glass goddamn slipper. Damn. That is diabolical. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Listen, I'm a very, 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 very proud black man. And I say that in any forum. I can't hide my melanin. I love being who I am, right? And the issue with the world today is families don't value one another no more. I've never in my life seen such chatty patties in my life. I watch men gossip about men, and when the man walks in a room, what's good, my G? What's goody? Didn't you just say that he a clown? Didn't you just say he's trash? Right? You know what? I'm gonna tell a personal story. They're two friends. One of the friends, he got a diabolical charge. If y'all know what I mean, a diabolical charge. One of the charges a man should never get, or a woman, right? And the other person on the left side is allegedly a snitch. The person here has a diabolical charge. No, and the person here is alleged. The person asked me, who do you respect more? I said that the person on this side. He said, why? I said, because this is crazy. There is no alleged. We can Google it, it's online. But yet still, we're gonna ignore if this never happened. What I've learned is people cast judgment harder on people they don't respect more than the ones they respect. I watch people accept people doing the worst of the worst because they're a little bit more popular than the person they're talking about. So you ignore what this person has done because you like this person more than you like this person. I don't give a damn if I know you or that person longer. What's wrong is wrong and what's right is right. I'm a grown man. I stand on principles, integrity, morals, and what's right. I don't sit around gossiping about something that's not right, and I won't say nothing behind your back that I can't say to your goddamn face. I'm not doing that anymore. This is our culture. Bunch of gossipers, a bunch of people mad at the world, but not mad at themselves for making poor decisions. You will hold others more accountable than you hold yourself. Someone could tell you about you. You could tell the world about themselves, but you can't tell yourself about yourself. They say he who without sin cast the first stone. A lot of people be casting stones and they live in a glass house. They live in a glass house. You live in a glass house and you casting a lot of stones. Don't throw a rock and hide your hand. Stand on it. If you said it, stand on it. It is what it is. I feel like we're in a culture where things are changing for the worse. And I say it straight up. I don't understand how men battle women and women battle men. When we understand that the average person can't even buy a house by themselves. The average person can't build no wealth. I'm doing my thing. No, you're struggling. And the sad part is you're hiding the smoke screen around your reality. If you can clean a lot of people's windows and look through the windows, you'll realize that the person you're trying to impress live worse than you. A lot of people that you're trying to impress is doing worse than you. Trust me. A lot of people that act like they got it going on are struggling. It's scary when people can make struggle look good. It's scary as hell when people can make struggling look good. We have a sick mentality. If the shoe fits, wear it. If the shoe fits, wear it. Own it and fix it. My mother said to me years ago, don't do nothing you're gonna be ashamed of. And I don't do nothing I'm gonna be ashamed of. So if somebody come to me and say, yo, Q, I'm saying, yeah, goddamn right. I said it and I meant it. And I stand on it. And whatever the consequences may be, it is what it is. That's one of the main reasons I got out the streets. Because I know I'll be the person that diabolically get punished because I stand on principles that a lot of people don't stand on. This is the reality. God called me the other day, said, yo, I got to talk to you about something. I said, what? So-and-so snitching. I said, I don't care. I ain't in the streets. And nor am I a cop to find out what's going on in the streets. I don't care. I feel like these things are the number one things that are distracting us from building. You got women that are mad at their brothers and sisters because of what happened in childhood. You have men that are mad at their brothers and sisters because of what happened in childhood. I'm gonna tell y'all something. If I know something about your character, right, and you call me to talk about somebody else's character, and I know that's not their character, I'm hanging up the phone. I'm hanging up the goddamn phone. I'm not gonna sit there and entertain a conversation I know ain't somebody. Because I'm gonna tell you something, that term misery loves company, and the sad part is, the people that usually throw the parties are the ones that's making the phone calls for the misery. They making all the phone calls calling, hey, yo, you heard that so-and-so is doing this and so-and-so and so-and-so? You need to so-and-so and get your life together. Get your life together. Get your life together. Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. Someone call in right now, let's talk about it. Something we need to change in this culture so we can move forward. Something we need to change in this culture so we can move forward. Someone call in right now. Right? I think we need to just work on ourselves to the point where we get comfortable with ourselves. Because I genuinely don't like where we're going. It's like sitting in a car knowing you're going the wrong way and not saying nothing. Because I don't want to argue with the driver. You hear that? Imagine sitting in the car, you know the person's going the wrong way, and you're sitting there not saying anything because of the fact that you don't want to argue with the person. That's how I feel today, where I'm scared to death to speak on what I feel because I'm scared that the driver is going to get upset. The person that's in control of their life, you see that they're making poor decisions. But you care about them to the magnitude of what you care about, but you're gonna ignore the fact that they're going the wrong way because you're scared that you're gonna get into an argument with them. That is diabolical. That's diabolical. That's diabolical. Guys, the culture is in a bad space. Caller, what's going on, caller? Caller.
Hello.
What's going on, boss?
What's going on? Yeah, this KC with Street Elements Magazine.
What's going
on?
on?
I wanted to talk about it.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I wanted to talk about it. I hear what you're saying, and you telling the truth. You know, the way the world going right now, us as a people, we really are solo. We solo individual. We doing it. You know what I'm saying? Solo. Can't do it solo.
And the sad part, we losing. You
know.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How come we can understand this? If somebody come to the house to fight me right now, and you're standing behind me and we jump them, we know we could win that battle. But how come we won't jump bills and responsibilities? How come we won't jump the responsibilities in the bills?
That's what I'm saying. There's no direction no more. See, we don't have no blueprint no more. It's men against women, women against men, kids against parents. We don't have no unity no more. We don't have a community no more.
Yes.
We got black neighborhoods, but we don't got black community.
100%. 100%. Sad but so true, man. I'm listening to these ladies argue with women and men, and I'm like, listen, guys, we gotta fix this narrative, man. This narrative is bad. This narrative is bad. You know, a woman can't be my enemy. A man can't be my enemy when I know that we stand stronger being unified. And it says more about my character if I can definitely in sync with another person. If I can share what I'm building with somebody else, it says volumes about me. And it says volumes about you that we can build something together. Because I may not be the captain of the yacht, but I damn sure want to be on the boat.
Exactly. Just think about in a relationship these days. People getting together for the wrong reason.
Yes.
You know, we getting together. I'm getting together because I like you. But
Yes.
can we increase our monthly income together once we connect with one another? You see, I tell women all the time and men, man, once you get with a chick, the object is, can we increase our monthly income?
100%. 100%.
Because if I already got kids and she already got kids, well, we probably ain't from to build no family. Normally, know how it's supposed to go. But can we build a business together? Can we build our bank account together? If we ain't doing that, we ain't using each other in the right way.
100%. 100%. But I tell men all the time, we don't spend our energy on fixing women. We find women that fit the vision of where we going, and we go where we got to go. And she adds value to where we want to go. I'm not fixing no woman. I'm not no nurturer. I'm a provider. And by being a provider, I need a woman that sees my vision, add value to my vision, and we gonna multiply the vision. That's how I see it.
But society, in today's society, they programming our women to believe they have to do it by themselves, and that ain't their natural position.
100%. 100%.
You know,
But
they programming them this way. So sometimes our women, our beautiful women, they psychologically put in position believing in their mind that they got to do it by themselves, and so sometimes they don't take the direction of a man when he's trying to protect her. She see it as you trying to stop me.
100%. 100%. 100%.
You know?
You know what it is? Because they don't know the difference between being strong and masculine. I meet a lot of strong women that know how to be very feminine, but I meet a lot of women that are masculine and only know how to be masculine. And a lot of time, masculine women are very just aggressive women. They're not really masculine, just aggressive. They like to argue. They like to combat. They like to challenge. And I'm like, you challenge it for all the wrong reasons. Let's challenge each other and see if we can get further with ourselves and elevate and grow. But a lot of people don't think like that. We in a bad space psychologically.
But once again, you can't even blame them because they're being programmed from a young age to have this mentality.
100%. 100%. 100%.
You can't even blame them sometimes. If a person don't know anything, I heard something the other day. If the mama don't know nothing, the child don't know nothing.
I agree. Because you only
So
mirror
you
what
get
you
with
see.
a girl and her mama didn't know anything. She don't really know anything. She just really, operating on what she learned in her environment.
100%.
Like you said, uplifting the mind. I believe all of us need to uplift our mind so we can really see things for how it is. We got to work as a team.
100%.
We can't work against one another if you're really trying to build something long term. We
100%.
got to work as a team.
100%.
It's hard to do things out here in this world by yourself.
100%. My guy, I appreciate you so much. 100%. Get this man a round of applause. Wow. He got a lot of valid points. And that's what we're not seeing. We're not working together. We're not elevating. We're not growing. We're not building anything. Sustaining struggle for the rest of your life is not winning. I just want people to understand that statement. I don't know who's taught us that, but we believe that if you can maintain struggle to the day you pass, that means you won. Maintaining struggle is not winning. But a lot of us we're confused with winning and actually just surviving. We're a survival culture to the point where we feel like if I can survive, I'm doing good. And I'm like, sister, you got that foreign car, you got that apartment, but you're stressing bills every single month. You are definitely not happy. But you're gonna make it look good. And you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna keep masking the wound. And masking the wound. Brother, you might need to sit with a therapist and talk to them because your woman is not your punching bag. Brother, you may need to sit with a therapist and talk because your woman is not your punching bag. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if a woman is delicate, then you have to approach it with a delicate manner, in a delicate manner. You can't approach a woman who is delicate aggressively and expect to get results. 9 out of 10 times a woman will react to a leader faster than she'll react to someone that's just talking. Women follow what they see more than they follow what they hear. A man can tell a woman in the beginning, you can sell a woman a dream, but over time she's gonna see you not moving and you stand for nothing. And now comes a lack of respect because of the fact that there's nothing to respect. A man has to give a woman something to respect. Words mean nothing when it comes down to the long term of a woman. That love spell gonna fade away. And that's just the truth. Someone call in 516-253-1150. 516-253-1150. Call in right now. We're talking about if the shoe fits, wear it. You know, there is no more honor. There's no more integrity. There's no more morals. You know, it's sad how we value how much money we make, but not how much money we have. I see tons of people bragging about, I make money, but you don't got nothing to show for what you make. You're not bragging because the rule of money is not what you make, it's what you can preserve. No one cares about what you make. What are you doing with it? Right? And that's our culture. We need to change. My man Curtis just was on a check-in a minute ago. Curtis, what's good, my guy? In case you didn't see it, if you're still on, right? But we got to learn how to grow. We got to learn how to elevate. We got to learn how to articulate. We got to learn how to build something. We're not building anything. All we're doing is destroying everything we come across. Listen, somebody gonna get mad, but I don't care. I want y'all to hear this good. In the beginning of a relationship, right, when a woman really, really likes you, the woman will do anything that you tell her to do. But when you see a woman that's argumentative, that's combative, that's aggressive, that's all of these things, she is a reflection of the man she's dating. Because only a man that has a loser spirit will attach himself to something like that. And in most cases, the woman becomes the way you treat her. When you see a woman that's diabolical, she don't trust you. I wonder why. She always want to be in your stuff. I wonder why. She's always talking aggressive. I wonder why. Behind every action, it's always a reaction. So sometimes we call women crazy because there are two types of crazy. There's ones that come crazy, but the craziest woman is the woman you make crazy. You can make a woman crazy, and that's the craziest woman. You made her crazy. When you go to a woman's life and you challenge her peace with your diabolicalness, she's gonna be with all the smoke after. She bringing every bit of that trauma with her. All that stuff she was suppressing, all those things she was trying to get over, she bringing the noise. And you're gonna be like, she's bugging. No, you bugging. You should have known not to play with her. You should never let her on. Tell her the truth. I wanna have fun. Most guys don't do that. They tell them what they want to hear to get what they want, and then they get mad at the results because it don't pan out the way you thought it was gonna pan out. Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150, 516-253-1150. And the reason why I can say that confidently, that women are a reflection of the man, every woman, I've come across some crazy girls. I'm not gonna hold you. Some heat, they were crazy. I've met girls that are diabolical. I met one girl, I told her I called her back, she called me back 55 times in a row, right? Just wow, I've been through all of the crazy stuff. But the crazy, what's good, West Money, what up, what up? Right? The craziest girl I've ever come across is a girl I made crazy. That is the craziest girl. Like when I did females in my heyday wrong, and then I'm complaining about the way she's acting, but I'm like, yo, the reason why men don't understand women and the difference, and I want you to hear this, if a man moves on, let's say we got into a physical altercation, if I forgive you, I genuinely forgive you. A woman will forgive you but preserve that feeling, right, forever. But she didn't really forgive you. But the love that she has for you may keep her. But in reality, that's not how she genuinely feels. She's never gonna forget it. And that's their gift and a curse. A woman has a remembering of an elephant. That's her gift and her curse. So reality is once you hurt her, just know what it is. Someone call in right now. I see somebody from Westbury in the chat. The real KB, what up? Peace trip in the building. 516-253-1150. We talking about if the shoe fits, wear it. You know, I've seen situations where people put themselves in bad predicaments, but they hate the results of the bad predicament they put themselves in. And that's how crazy we are. You ever see somebody spend all their money and then cry about all the money after they spend all their money, and then they want you to feel sorry for the fact that they broke. If you ain't diabolical, I don't know what you is. That's when you know somebody mother and father first biological cousins. Because you gotta have a level of weirdness to you to believe that you're not the problem when you're the one blowing the bag. Guys, we gotta get comfortable with ourselves. I remember years ago, I wouldn't come outside with a pair of shoes that was under $100. I wouldn't come out of the house with a pair of shoes that wasn't under $100. I'll go thrifting, I don't care. Because I don't care what nobody think about me anymore. Because when you know who you are, you have no reason to pretend to be someone you're not. I've noticed that the most successful people are some of the most humblest people. And some of the most arrogant people are the people who have nothing. There's a guy the other day, he sat with me, he said, look at my account, look how much money I gotta spend on Ubers. I said, because you won't get on the bus. He was like, yo, I'm not getting on no bus. I said, the people that you think that's watching you, ain't nobody give a damn about you. I said, yes. I said, they don't care. Using public transportation ain't a problem if you know what I'm saying? I said, it's you being insecure. You worried about people who aren't thinking about you. You act like, listen, that's what they told you, that's that main character syndrome, where you see people think that they're so much more than what they actually are. That's the problem, right? And this is what we don't want to do, right? And that's what we don't want to do. And the logic says, we got to start working on ourselves. We got to start educating ourselves. We got to start building ourselves. Man, do me a favor. To all my men on my live and to all my men watching this episode, when was the last time you went to your woman and said thank you? When? I'm not talking about for something she did. For something that she will do. I'm gonna tell you something, it is beautiful to be appreciated for things you haven't done yet. It makes a person wanna do more. Let me say that again for those who don't know. Y'all not listening. When was the last time you went to your woman and said thank you for something that she didn't even do yet? Because I'm gonna tell you something, when you reward people for what they can do, they tend to wanna do more. I'm gonna come to my ladies. When was the last time you went to a man and said thank you for the king that you are and the king that you can become? When the last time? When you praised him for something that he didn't even do yet. Y'all don't understand, the words have affirmation. The tongue is one of the most powerful gifts that our Creator has given us. A lot of us don't understand. You can speak life or the D word into somebody's life, this is the logic. But I've noticed that too many of us are so caught up in our feelings that we can't see anyone else's. This is the most narcissistic generation I've ever seen in my life. Where people are not even empathetic for grandmothers no more. I watch people fight over money as soon as somebody passes away. Person not even cold in their grave, and they're already fighting for money. This is the culture. This is the culture. Yet and still we don't build nothing together. Because there's a difference when you're fighting for something that you didn't even work for. And there's a difference when you're fighting for something that you helped build. I don't knock a woman that takes something from the divorce when she's helped build it. But I do knock a woman that takes from a divorce that she ain't helped build. If she wasn't with you shooting in the gym, she don't deserve them rewards. But if she was in that gym shooting with you, then I understand why she get them rewards. And I want to say this on record in most cases. The lifestyle that we want, you have to realize you got to create it. Nobody's going to give you the life that you say you want just because you want it. And I'm going to tell y'all something. A lot of y'all be watching other people's relationships and you don't realize that if you was a fly on the wall, you would not want that relationship. There's a lot of people that go through a lot to stay in them relationships for them long 10 years of years. A lot of times people like, oh my God, I want a relationship like them, but then you get a relationship like them and you realize you cannot sustain a relationship like them. Because the things you have to endure to sustain it is not even in you. It's not even in you, right? But we have a worse mentality that I've ever seen in my life, right? When the last time somebody picked up one of the elders and took him out? When the last time one of y'all picked up your elders and took them out? Spend some time with them. Because there was a time when your elder picked you up, right? They say twice a child, once an adult. As your elders get older, we don't even look out for them. We don't look out for our elders. We gonna tell the truth, right? When the last time, I'm gonna tell you something, a story. I have a good friend of mine, and her daughter is rebelling against her. And the thing she keeps saying is, oh, that's that teenage thing. And I said, you ever sat your daughter down and really asked her what's wrong with her? She said, no. I said, I think it's time. She said, I tried. I said, but you try with aggression. You don't try with receptiveness. You don't try with humility. You try with aggression. What's the matter with you? Ain't nothing wrong with you. You telling that child there is nothing wrong with this child, and there's something clearly wrong with the child. But I'm like, you are you, she is she. You're not the same person. But to understand somebody is being humble. To learn someone, you have to be humble. And a lot of people ain't willing to humble themselves so they can learn. So as I'm telling her this, she's just telling me, my daughter got a better life than me. I said, I'm gonna tell you something, sister. Just because your life was bad, what she's going through is a lot for her. And that's what you need to learn to understand. So she said to me, I said, how about all three of us sit down? Me, her, and her daughter sit down. And I said, what's the matter with you? She said, nothing. First thing her mother goes is, that's why I don't ask her nothing. I said, that's why she don't talk to you. I said, she's suppressed her emotions so much that she knows she's not gonna be received, so therefore, guess what? She don't say nothing. Because she know you're not willing to receive what she wanna say. So she said, I said, if you wanna learn your daughter, get out your feelings. I said, let's have a conversation. She said, you know what? I'm not gonna say another word. The daughter tried to talk again. She spoke over her again because it wasn't going the way the mother wanted to hear her. And I'm like, this is a problem in our culture. Because things are not aligning with what you want to hear don't mean you need to cut somebody off. The first thing is the acknowledgement of understanding. That's the first thing you should do. I understand what you're saying. I hear you. And I apologize that I made you feel like that. But that wasn't truly my intentions. A person will be way more receptive of hearing you if you're willing to humble yourself before you say anything. You don't go to the feeling first. I ain't do that. Let's see? The humbleness is, you know what? That wasn't my intentions. I understand what you're saying. I'm completely hearing you. I never thought about it like that. That's the truest way of healthy communication. But if you can't humble yourself, right? When you soften the person's hearts, when you say that, you say, damn, Tyler, I ain't know I did that to you, bro. I ain't even know I made you feel like that. Even if that wasn't my intentions. But the acknowledgement of the person's feelings make them feel like, yo, you respect me. And it makes them more receptive of hearing you. But the issue is when you go to somebody with aggression, every time they try to tell you something about them, they will never be receptive. Because automatically be trained to go on a defense. It becomes a mechanism for defense when you know, like, I'm being attacked. So when you feel like you're under attack, the first thing most people do is become aggressive. They don't become receptive. And that's our culture. We're not a receptive culture. Especially when things make us feel inferior. Especially when things make us uncomfortable. Especially when things touch a trigger for us. A lot of us are sitting around like this, hitting on a trigger. Ready to shoot. Even when you're telling someone something that could help them. This is the culture. So the mother said to me, I'm not gonna say nothing. I said, do me a favor. Don't say nothing else. Let her speak her piece. Second thing her daughter said was, she's not gonna listen to me anyway. You know how unhealthy that relationship is? When a child or a person feels like nothing they can say can get through to somebody else, even when the person is doing something that's affecting them, whether their peace, whether their sanity, whether their feelings, whether anything in between. You know how unhealthy that relationship is? So the daughter said, she's not gonna listen to me. I said, nah, you should tell your piece. She's not gonna say another word. Soon as you know what I had to do to her mother? I had to put tape on her mother's lips. I had to put tape on her mother's lips because her mother could not hear her daughter not one time. But she's telling me she knows her daughter. How can you know somebody you don't even listen to? How can you know someone you're not even willing to listen to? I had to put tape. Her mother sat there like, I said, just listen to your daughter. Now this conversation started moving forward. The daughter said, I don't like the fact that you hold me to standards that you don't hold yourself. I don't like the fact that the way you talk to me anytime you're upset. And she said, it is not my fault that there's not a man helping you pay bills. I'm 13 years old. You make me feel bad about being in a house that I feel like I should be welcome in because you chose to have me. I did not ask to be here. And this little girl started talking to her mother. Her mother was sitting there getting hot. And I said, you need to eat it. I said, because right now she's telling you exactly what she feels, and you should respect her feelings. I don't care if she's 10, 5, or 30. She is a human who has to have respect just like you, because respect is a given. You give it, you get it. You give it, you give it. You give it, you get it. You don't get it even if you don't give it. That is not respect. That is control. So the daughter finishes off our conversation. Her mother was so uncomfortable. She was sitting there hot. I said, you need a shower? You need a cold shower? You need a cold shower? Her mother said, well, I think she's just making up these things. I said, that little girl just sat here and told you her feelings. And you talking about she made up something. I said, regardless of whatever you think, that's how she feels. That's how she feels. If that's your intentions or not, that's how she feels. The ultimate icing on the cake was when the daughter said, every time you go to work, you come home with this nasty attitude and you take it out on us. And I looked at the mother and I said, don't that sound like your mother? Listen what I just said to her. I looked at the mother and I said, don't that sound identical to the mother you grew up with? You told me 100 times that your mother used to go to work and every time she came from work, she took it out on y'all. And all you're doing is mirroring the same behavior of your mother. So what makes you better than the woman you come from? That means your generational genes haven't gotten no stronger because you should be able to identify this is wrong. She looked at me and said, damn, you're right. I told her daughter to leave the room. Her daughter leaves the room. I talked to her. That woman that sat before me was a broken little girl who only knew how to hurt people because she never healed that little girl that's inside of her. That little girl suffered so much pain from her mother that she's giving that same trauma back to her daughter. And what she's creating is a rebellious spirit because your daughter is not being heard. So guess what? Eventually your daughter will end up with someone who's pretending or listens to her. And then you wonder why we have so much rebellious children. Because we are broken parents who never healed our inner child. And we bleed on our children. And then we wonder why our children are not receptive. They're not respectful. They're rebellious. Because we're rebellious adults. Of course, an unhealthy parent will create an unhealthy child. Pretending to be okay doesn't mean you're okay. Acting as if you're happy don't mean you're happy. I love my child. You do love your child. But if you love your child, you'll work on yourself more to the point where you're willing to fix yourself. You're willing to fix yourself. I've done so much work on myself because I realized that it doesn't work yelling at children. It don't work. They get used to it. They become numb to your voice. They become numb to the point that every time you speak, they don't even hear you. They don't hear you because they're numb. Because this is what you keep giving them. They're just used to it. This is what we're talking. This is our culture. And then we don't see why we have broken little people who come from broken big people who's going to eventually create what? More broken people? We're gonna blame other cultures. We're gonna keep pointing the finger. I understand, my sisters and my brothers, you may have been through some storms. But I'm gonna tell you something. You gotta be willing to give your child at least a rain jacket. We know that everyone has gonna go through some storms. But big people, it's our job to give these children at least a rain jacket. Because it's sad that you had to go through that storm with no shelter, no jacket, no umbrella, no nothing. But now you procreate life and your kid got to go through them same exact storms. The emotional storms are the worst storms because it plays with your psyche. It plays with your thoughts. It plays with your ability to focus. It plays with everything when you're not happy. It makes you insecure. And then you see a lot of people, they scream things like, I don't need a man. I don't need a woman. It's because you've broken. You hurt. And that's all we're doing is bleeding on each other. The culture has gotten so comfortable with hiding how we truly feel that we don't even know how we truly feel. Because it's sad that a person has to hide their true feelings because they're worried about being ostracized. They're worried about being judged. They're worried about being casted out. A lot of the times, the people that act like they got it all together, they got the worst situations that you could ever imagine. I tell you, if you peel back other people's lives, you'll see some nasty layers. Nasty layers. And one thing I've learned how to do is become comfortable with myself to the point where I can help other people elevate themselves because they're going through things themselves. To my brothers on my live right now, you're not weak because you feel. You're human. You are a human. You are a human. And if a woman takes advantage of a man in his vulnerable state, then she's weak. She's weak. Because if a man can't feel, that man will never heal. That man has to be comfortable enough to express himself. But someone taught that little girl how to hurt a man with her words to the point where a lot of men are scared to be vulnerable with their woman. Because we come from, a lot of times, the mothers that use our vulnerability against us. Ultimately getting oldest being scared to be vulnerable with a woman. And you'll never have a healthy relationship, ladies, if your man can't be vulnerable with you. If that man can't tell you, I'm having a hard week. This is bothering me. There was a video. The woman cooked, right? And the husband came in late from work. She said as she sat there and waited for him to come home, she thought of every curse that she was gonna say to this man for coming home late from work, right? Every curse. She said, I can't wait till he walk in these doors. It's on. She said the Holy Spirit spoke to her and it told her, are you a girlfriend or are you a wife? And in that moment, she realized that she's a wife. A wife is supportive. A husband is supportive. The word love in the Bible says love is not about opposing your own will. Love is kind, love is patience, love is pure. So she thought in that moment, I'm gonna love my husband when he walks in these doors. The husband walks in the doors. She said, honey, I made your plate for you. She said, how was your day? You know what the man did? He fell into her arms and started crying and said, it was one of the worst days of my life. Now you sit here and you tell me, why is the rate higher for men taking their own lives? Why? It's called suppressed emotions, suppressed feelings. That man walked in the house and fell in her arms and started crying. But imagine if he would have walked in that door and she would have tore into that man. When it rains, it pours, right? Because you know why? The selfish thoughts we have, it's everything about how they make us feel. But the empathy in you should always have the willingness to think about others. When you learn to think about others is when you learn how to become human again. We are a robotic culture. We mirror and mimic trash behaviors, right? The other day, God said to me, women are mad emotional. So I said, so why are you complaining about something that you know they are? Why are you complaining about something that you know that they are? I said, be the supporter. Lead her. Hold her down when she needs it. Let her know that things are going to be okay. Right? You the man, right? Hold on. You the man, right? Let her feel things are going to be all right. But I tell you, we got to work on ourselves. This shoe fits. We have to start wearing it. And I'm telling you something, ain't nobody going to change nothing that we're not willing to change and identify ourselves as wrong. Because I'm telling you something, cancer can only spread in the body if it's not healed. Right? And cancer has spreading amongst our culture. I meet some of the most toxic men I've ever met in my life. You have men that'll meet a woman, disturb her peace. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Listen, I go back and forth. I'm fair, right? I'm fair. I just told you about the woman. A man will meet a woman. Listen, when you walk past a woman and you see a woman and you decide to holler at her, at that moment you decide if you want to disturb her peace. You decide that you're gonna be her peace or you're gonna disturb her peace. You choose. At that very moment, am I gonna disturb her peace or am I gonna bring her peace? And a lot of us choose to be the woman's trauma. You know the scariest thing, and I'm gonna say this and somebody gonna get mad, I don't give a damn. I know how to fight a little bit too, right? I know how to fight a little bit. There was a woman, right? She used to talk to one of the guys I used to be cool with, and we're not cool no more. She told him everything she's been through, how she was the R word, and all of these things that she's been through. He learned her, manipulated her, and eventually broke this woman's heart. And I looked at him, and I said, there is no closer thing that I've ever witnessed in my life that I see is the devil. And to this day, we and this guy is no longer friends. And the reason why is because I respect a man. Remember the term man. A man is honest with his words. A man stands on what he say, right? We lead by example. We give the energy to the world that we want back. So for you to meet her, tell her that you want to do all of these good things for her, knowing that you have no intentions, you're still a little boy. We did that when we was little boys. We don't do that as men. When you meet a woman, you be honest. Transparency, right? Tell her this is what it is. And that's just how you have to respect it. I'm gonna give one more person one more chance to call in before we get out of here today. Call in right now, 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. Call in right now, the number's right there. The number's in the comments, someone call in right now before we get out of here today. We gotta work on ourselves. We gotta stop changing our shoe sizes and just wear our own shoes. We gotta stop lying to ourselves. We gotta stop pointing the finger at others. The world will be better when everyone starts adding value to it. The world will be better when everyone starts adding value to it. We gotta stop looking at what the world's got going on and see what we can do to add value to the world. How we can help others. The most amazing thing I love about being an influencer and talking about the things as a motivational speaker is I get to talk to people who have some very, very, very strong testimonies. And the one thing I love about these people, they don't let their start become their ending. And they work on themselves, and they work on themselves, and they work on themselves. Because they realize that they're the author of their own book, and they're choosing to change the trajectory of their life. They know that they control the story. They control the narrative. Someone said, you be honest with us, you will respect you more. I agree 100%. Delita, you're 100% right. 100% right, right? Anybody want to say anything on the comments before we get out of here? If you don't want to call in, I'm going to read off some comments before we get out of here, okay? I'll read off a couple comments if somebody wants to say something. We got to work on ourselves, guys. We got to stop letting people infiltrate the culture and teach this bad narrative. Right? I got a guy right now who's not with the child's mother no more. And someone she don't want the man to raise her child, and it's bad. Someone says, bro, your story you told about your boy, that's how I feel now with my homies. It hurts me. That means you have reached the maturation process. When you start giving the universe the energy that you want to receive, that's when you fully develop into a man or a woman. A man and a woman is conscious of how we treat others, because this is the respect we deserve, we want in return. We give the universe what we want back, right? I treat everyone's mother like that's my mother. So therefore, my mother will get the blessings that I'm giving other people's mothers, right? That's how I look at life. We have to learn how to heal and love each other again. There was a time we was trending. That is a time where we're trending. The only way to change it is we got to fix what's clearly wrong, right? Someone said, maybe it's time to get away from those guys. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to understand some people are part of your chapters. For a certain amount of chapters, they're not for your whole total story. And if they're doing things that goes against your nature as a man or as a woman, is misrepresenting you, then it's time to move on from these people. And there's nothing wrong with moving on, because sometimes the things that you're staying next to are the reason why you're not able to see how great you are. Think about this. If you put someone in front of you, you can't even see your own shadow. And a lot of times we can't see our own behaviors because we put people in front of us that block our own behaviors. Till next time, guys, don't let that go over your head.